All right, I think I am on air. This is my second time using Crowdcast, so still experimenting and figuring this out. Thanks for those of you who are here along live with the journey, and for those of you who are watching the recording, welcome as well. Thank you so much for being part of this very special live Q&A and watching my vlogs for the past 30 days. I really can't wait to dive into questions. I have so many questions. I really did not expect so many from you, which is just so cool. I can't express enough how grateful I am for those of you who have been faithfully watching every video or most of the videos and commenting and giving them the thumbs ups. It's been such a vulnerable 30 days for me. A lot has changed. And I feel like I've evolved so much in that time, greatly in part to doing these vlogs. I've had a chance to really identify so much of myself. I've had a chance to connect with you, get to know you, get your perspective on things, your feedback. It's just been so helpful. And I've been on YouTube since 2008, at the end of 2008. I'm coming up on my 8th year anniversary on YouTube with Eco Vegan Gal. And I have to say, though, this last 30 days, though, has been one of the best months I've ever had. I've done over 1,000 videos across all my different YouTube channels. And this is just so unique for me. I never expected this when I started the vlogs. I can't even really remember why I started the vlogs in the first place. I don't know. I think I just wanted to start vlogging. I've talked about how I really enjoy watching Casey Neistat's video, his daily vlogs I really enjoy. And there's a few other people that I would tune into. And I was kind of thinking, I wonder what it would look like if I were to do vlogs here. I've done vlogs on the What a Vegan Eats YouTube channel. I've done a few vlogs, I think, on the main Eco Vegan Gal channel. And doing it here is just so different. I'm going to dive into the questions that have been asked here on this page on Crowdcast. And then depending on time and all of that, I'm going to go over to the questions that I received in comments of videos. That was actually my initial concept, was to just answer questions from the comment section of all the different vlogs. Number one, the most popular question so far came from Holly, who asked, do you ever err from the vegan diet and what causes you to slip up? I do not. I've been vegan since 2003, so it's been 13 years for me. And it's really easy for me to be vegan. I live in Los Angeles. That really helps out a lot. And there's just vegan restaurants all over the place. There's tons of grocery stores. You guys have seen me do a number of these things over time. And also just my experience building up all like that 13 years of experience makes it easy for me right now. And I felt like it's been pretty easy to eat plant-based for the majority of the time. I would say that if I ever have cravings, there's a couple things that have really helped. So it all comes down to why you're on the vegan diet in the first place. And for me, it's pretty much every reason. I started out of curiosity. I was really attracted to the health benefits of the plant-based lifestyle and diet. I was really interested in the environmental effects of it. And then, of course, the ethical reasons for the animals. Everything just made so much sense. So I have a lot of motivation for being vegan and staying vegan and not giving in to cravings. Now, that isn't to say that I don't miss certain things. I have no desire for any meat or fish. I don't think that I've missed that much at all. I went vegetarian literally overnight. I just did feel that attached to meat or fish. I did feel more attached to dairy, which is quite common. So that took me a few more months to go from vegetarian to vegan. I think it took me like 3 to 6 months. I didn't document it very much back then, but that was about the timeline there. And I do miss certain cheeses. And so far there haven't been there's certain cheeses that haven't been perfected in the vegan community yet. Like goat cheese and brie are my two favorites that I miss the most. There are people that have done their plant-based versions of it. They've got similar tastes and textures, but they haven't nailed it yet. Whereas like things like cheddar and mozzarella and Gouda and blue cheese, like I've had a bunch of those. Those are very similar. Parmesans. I mean, we are so, so fortunate now. And I just find a variety in my diet really, really helps a lot. And that's also part of the reason that I eat packaged foods, is because I like the different tastes and the textures and all the different, just trying new things. I can make things at home, but I really just enjoy the experience of going to restaurants and buying packaged foods every now and then. And that helps me stay vegan. So there's this feature, by the way, where I can invite users onto screen. I'm going to do that for each question. If any of you want to come on screen and ask your question or just be there, I tried this last time I did a crowdcast and it didn't work. So if you see a notification pop up, try it. We'll experiment with it. You're under no obligation at all. It just might say something like, do you want to come on screen? So right now I'm asking Diane to come on screen if she's interested. And I'm going to start answering her question. If she pops up, we'll see what happens. Okay, so Diane said, I know you love to read a lot. Do you have an all-time favorite fiction, spirituality, and cookbook? That's really tough. Not off the top of my head. Right now, the spirituality book that I keep coming back to in my mind is A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. I'm reading The Power of Now right now, and I'm enjoying it, but A New Earth was like really life-changing for me. Fiction, actually, I could say maybe The Alchemist, which falls into that category as well. If you haven't read that yet, it's so wonderful. I read that last year for the first time. I'm trying to think if there's another fiction book. I'm not really a huge fiction reader. I would read it in high school. I would read it for pleasure, sometimes over the summer, but I'm much more into nonfiction. And so the spirituality, self-help, personal growth, or vegan books, health books, all of that stuff. And in terms of cookbooks, maybe Crazy Sexy Diet. That's one of my favorite health books. And there's a lot of good recipes in there. I mean, of course, I'm partial to Jason's book, Eternity. I really like, my new favorite book is Jackie's Vegan Bowl Attack. I really enjoy that book. So I'll have to think about that more. That's a tough one, but thanks for asking. Okay, I'm going to invite Liz on screen next. Tell me if you guys are getting these notifications, and if not, no big deal. I'm just trying to work out some of the kinks of using this system. Okay, Diane did not want to, and it looks like Liz accepted. Oh, cool. It tells me now. This is neat. All right, we'll give it a second. I'll read Liz's question in the meantime, and then we'll see what happens here. So Liz asked, what advice can you give me, a fairly new vegan, to stay inspired and be more creative in the kitchen? I love that. I think a number of the things that I already mentioned about what keep me go as a vegan can help you and apply to this question. I really think variety is the key when you're switching your diet, when you're new to something, is just trying lots of new things, try lots of recipes, try restaurants, try packaged foods, just do a lot of exploring to figure out what you like, and keep notes of it. Journal, you can blog about it, you can post about it on social media, keep track. Social media is also so great for getting inspired, like going through all these beautiful food feeds and be able to see like what people are posting and making, what they like, asking questions. In terms of being creative in the kitchen, I really think that just trying a new recipe, and try different types, like try American food, Italian food, Mediterranean, Japanese, like try all the different cuisines. Oh, look, I think Liz is here. You're double on the screen for some reason. This is kind of cool, but I can see you. I'm not sure if I can hear you. Did you hear my answer, Liz?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good. There you are. I can hear you. Is there anything? Thank you for coming on screen. This is the first time I've
elevator.
I don't want to kick you off, but I don't know why you're on here doubly. Do you have any other specific parts of your questions that you'd want to address, like maybe about how to get creative in the kitchen? What type of foods are you making right now?
I'm just really looking at Instagram and trying to get inspired by that, or just looking at certain vegan cookbooks like the minimalist baker
Mm-hmm.
and Oshi Glows. It's also a good one.
Yep.
I enjoy that one.
Yeah, that's good. You have the blog you go to, right? Or do you have her book?
I have both. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
I think that if you remember, the community is probably the biggest thing online, is to keep talking to people like me, interact with people on social media, follow all the different posts, keep up with the blogs, and just keep experimenting. I think a lot of people get nervous about making things in the kitchen, but I think that if you maybe give yourself a goal of like, okay, I'm going to make at least one recipe from one of my cookbooks this week, or at least one new recipe. I'm going to try something that I might not have tried because it seemed too hard. It's all about that planning. And in fact, this is actually a feature that I want to build into Eco Vegan Pal, which is to have like these monthly or weekly challenges where we all as a group do something together. And so I think that can be fun, because I personally struggle with getting creative in the kitchen because I just get lazy or I don't plan ahead. And so I'll go to a cookbook and I don't want to go to the store to get the ingredients, or I don't want to spend all the time that it takes to make it, so I won't do it. But if I plan ahead, or I have like a challenge or someone involved, if you can bring like a friend over, that could help out a lot, like multiple people in the kitchen, or getting your family involved. During the holidays, for example, I'll often get my sister, my dad, or my mom involved with making big meals, and we'll spend the entire day making food together, and it goes by fast, and we're bonding together, and like that can help make it a little bit more exciting.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming on screen. It's so great to hear your voice.
Thank you.
I don't know if you answered multiple questions here. And it looks like Diane said, Oshi Glows and The Minimalist both have blogs and cookbooks, right? Exactly. And Holly was asking, what was the last one? I think it was Oshi Glows was the second one you mentioned, right? And Minimalist Baker. That's awesome. Are there any other cookbooks or blogs you want to give a shout out to, since people are asking? Do you have any other
crazy nut diet? The one with Chad
Sarno.
I don't.
That's crazy.
I don't
Kitchen.
have the cookbook, but I did check it out from the library, and I liked it. Yeah,
it's good. Yeah. I have that. That's one of the books I don't think I've ever made anything from, because it feels so intimidating. But it's a great book, and I know Chad personally, and he's amazing. I think like the idea of him is very intimidating, because he's like this like fancy chef. Okay, well, thanks so much, Liz, for being here and for asking your questions. And if you want to come on screen later, if we have time, I'd love to have you back.
It was nice meeting you.
All right. If you guys want to see these more regularly and you like this format, we can talk about that. It does have like a monthly fee, so I'm either going to have to charge like $1 per video for this or something, or I might build it into Patreon or Eco Vegan Pal. So there'll just be like some sort of funding involved, so I can justify getting the software and making this happen. So keep that in mind. All right. The next one comes from Emily. Emily, I'll invite you on the screen if you want to join us. You're welcome to. And your question was, does your family watch your vlog channel? If so, how do they react when they see your vlog when you're upset? I've noticed you mentioned the challenges you have in your relationships with your mom and your sister. So I've been wondering if they ever watch. Do your friends ever watch and call you right after? My family, not to my knowledge, I don't think they watch any of my stuff. My mom always like kind of thinks it's weird. I think my dad, though. Hi, Emily. I'm glad you're here. My dad will, like, every once in a while, he's really into Twitter. So my dad, if I tweet something, my dad will watch one of my videos. But I'm really private about this uncensored channel, because it feels so like like I always say, it's like I feel very vulnerable, and I'm not like, yeah, I don't feel like it's my authentic self, but I'm still getting used to showing that, if that makes sense. So I'm not like trying to tell everybody about it yet. But my friends do watch this. Like every once in a while, Kobe will tell me she watches it, or she'll comment. Her username is Vegetorials. Vince watches every once in a while. Jason, I don't know if Jason watches if he's not with me. I'm trying to think of anyone else. I know like Chris from the Vegan Zombie watched at least one. And, every once in a while, I'll just like see somebody I know, like Jackie watched one, Jackie from Vegan Bowl Attack. And like, I always feel weird when I like know these people, especially the people that are in my profession. So,
right.
Yeah, it's weird. I'll be honest. I feel very vulnerable.
I feel like if it were me, my family would like stalk my vlogs. And I just always wonder when you're posting something emotional, like, are they watching this? Like, do they know she's saying this? Or even maybe people that are in your life, but maybe you don't have that.
Oh, I think she froze. Sorry to lose you, Emily. And time is going by so fast. I'm just going to move on. But if I can invite you back onto screen, I certainly will. Okay. Next is another question from Diane. Do you have some favorite recipes for bringing to events that non-vegans are going to be at? Off the top of my head, I would say macaroni and cheese is always a winner. What else have I brought to events? I would think like anything chocolatey. During Thanksgiving, I've been to a few potlucks, and I usually make gluten-free stuffing, and that's usually a hit. I say anything rich is usually going to be a winner, and something familiar. Oh my gosh, it would be great is from Vegan Bowl Attack, that cookbook I've mentioned so many times. Her white bean beer fondue is definitely something you could bring. It's rich, it's creamy. I served that to a bunch of non-vegans when I did the video recipe a few weeks ago, and like they all loved it. So I would say like a familiar dish that's typically not vegan that you veganize well, and it's hard to tell the difference. That is a good thing. So hopefully those are a few ideas. Diane asked, who is your favorite vegan role model and or channel that you enjoy watching on YouTube? Chris Carr is probably my top vegan role model, and vegan channel. It's funny. Like I don't watch a ton of vegan channels, oftentimes because I find myself getting in like comparison mode. I mean, it's my friends. Like I'll watch Vince's videos, I'll watch Kobe's, I'll watch Jason's, like people that I know really well and I support. I'm trying to think of other channels. Yeah, I just haven't been watching that many lately. I mean, there's a bunch that I appreciate. Vegan Zombie, I think, is great, but a lot of these I feel biased because I know them personally. So I don't know if I have a favorite channel right now that's vegan, but I would say favorite YouTube channel right now would be Casey Neistat, because he's cool. All right. I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce your name right. I'm going to invite you on screen. Dev Shika, I think. So she asked, I'm assuming it's a woman. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are you still minimalist? If yes, please share some of your tips on minimalism. Also, what are your thoughts on leading a 0/reduced waste lifestyle? So I don't currently consider myself a minimalist by true definition of that. I don't know if I ever truly was one. I know I talked about this maybe like in 2012. And then when I was in 2012, I was doing a lot of moving. I was in San Francisco, then I moved back to Massachusetts temporarily, then I moved back to LA. And so I didn't have much stuff. I moved into this place in 2013 and haven't left. And so I remember when I first moved in here, I didn't have a ton of stuff. And then like over time I've accumulated. At the beginning of this year, 2016, I really started to pare down the stuff I had, but things just creep in a lot. So I would say the tips are to regularly look around and decide, what do you need? What do you love? What do you really, really want? And if what do you use regularly? if something isn't being used, if you don't really need it, if you don't really love it, you should probably sell it or donate it or recycle it if necessary. This is one reason I really like doing clothing swaps is a few times a year, my friends and I get together and we swap clothes, and it's amazing. It's such a great practice to get into looking at my clothing and just deciding, what do I love? What am I wearing? What am I not? I also go to secondhand stores and I'll sell or trade my clothing and all of that. So I think that's probably my best tip. There's this book, what's it called? The Life-Changing Something of Tidying Up, that got very popular this year or last year. I've been meaning to read that. That also sounds like a great thing. And I also follow the tiny house movement. I kind of live in a tiny house. I live in the standalone building. It's a guest house technically, but that's it. That's helped me stay pretty minimalist because I don't have a ton of space, and I'm always getting creative about where to put things, organize things, and not bringing too much into my home. And then thoughts on leading a zero/reduced waste lifestyle would really apply to that. I think getting reusable things, durable things, and not keeping things around that you don't need, recycling what you don't, giving it away, donating it, selling it, whatever it takes, and just being very, very mindful about what you buy. Okay, the next question comes from Erica. And let's see what we're doing. Okay, we have 6 minutes left. Time went by so fast. So let me know, guys, in the comments, do you want me to do the 8 p.m.? Because 30 minutes is clearly not nearly enough time for this. So if I get cut off abruptly, I'm going to look to your comments to see if you'd like me to do the 8 p.m. Or I guess I maybe could just start another session immediately after this one. I don't know. Let me know your preference in the comments. I might go with the 8 o'clock because that's what I initially mentioned. And if you can't make it live, then you'll be able to watch the recording. So Erica asked, how did you start creating your business? What type of jobs did you have before becoming a content creator? I just started because it was a passion, and I was doing it on the side. I was working 2 jobs, one full-time, one part-time. And then eventually I quit the full-time job, continued with the part-time job. And then eventually I quit the part-time job and just found ways to sustain myself. And I talk all about this on my separate brand, Whitney Lauritsen. Also, I have underneath the Whitney Lauritsen umbrella is the creators community for vegan and healthy living content creators that I coach and mentor through these very questions. And I'm also starting up my next course, Creative Wealth. I had that earlier this year, and I'm doing the second version of it pretty soon. I'm getting ready to relaunch that. So if you are curious about how to start your business, how to make money, how to, have jobs as a content creator and make money as being a content creator, stay tuned. I'll be doing a ton of stuff. And I also have a separate channel called EVG Venture, which has all sorts of videos on this topic. Okay. Erica also asked, what resources do you use to stay aware of what's happening in the vegan community? I love this question. This is actually something I want to integrate into Eco Vegan Pal, just helping people stay up to date about all this stuff. I would say social media, like Instagram is great for this, and Facebook. Twitter kind of, Snapchat can be useful for this. But I would say right now, Facebook and Instagram are the 2 places that I get most of my information. And I also subscribe to newsletters. That's really helpful. And lastly, I go to a lot of events, but I happen to be in a particular position that makes it easy. I've been in this business for many years, so I have a big network and I get invited to events all the time as a result. And I also live in a city that's accommodating it. So it's not that element of how I get information is not as accessible to everybody, but what is accessible to everybody is social media, forums, and newsletters. So I would recommend that. Erica or Liz asked, what resources or tips, if any, do you recommend for starting a blog, specifically food related? Since I'm short on time, Liz, I would say go over to the EVG Venture YouTube channel. I don't know if I have anything on blogging specifically there right now, but I could. Also, you can join the free Creative Wealth Facebook page, which is all about how to monetize things like a blog. I'm trying to think of what other resources. I used to have a podcast with Kobe but right now it's currently down. We're going to put it back up at some point. We had a ton of information that answered questions like this. This is just an in-depth question that I'd rather answer another time, but keep me posted on it, Liz, or remind me to answer this. And I would also love to have you part of all the different work that I'm doing under Whitney Lauritsen. Okay, Erica also asks, can you show more behind the scenes of you working on your main channel videos? Absolutely, Erica. Let me know specifically what you want to see, and this goes to everybody else watching. What elements of behind the scenes do you want to see? You know that I'm very open. I love showing you all different aspects of my life, but sometimes I'm not sure what you want to see. I've done 2 videos on the vlog series that have had behind the scenes so far, and I thought I showed a lot, but I didn't really know like what else you wanted to see. So give me some specific things and I'd be happy to incorporate that into a video. All right, I'm going to answer a question from Jessica. Oh, I'm almost done with the questions. Can I make it in before I get cut off? Okay, Jessica asked, I know you were experimenting with low histamine and that you mentioned FODMAPs. I've had a ton of food issues, but I've tried the low FODMAP and it's helped tremendously. And I guess Jessica just wanted to talk about this. So Jessica, I will say I'm super excited to hear that. Check out that book, Is Food Making You Sick? I did a review of that on the main Eco Vegan Gal channel as part of the Healthy Balanced Vegan Body series. It's not about FODMAPs. It's actually about low histamine, but I feel like there's a lot of crossover there. And also that you saw that Q&A with Sayward where she first told me about FODMAPs. So if I can support you in there. Also the 7-Day Allergy Makeover, which I have somewhere around here. That's another really great book that talks about things like food sensitivities. Hello. This is the second live Q&A of today. And I have a few questions from the previous Q&A. I have a few questions from this Q&A. You can ask at any point if you're watching live. And I'm going to answer some questions from the comment section of the vlogs. I'm going to start with, there's 2 questions here from Nita. Her first question was, she says, she notices that I tend to scratch my face a lot. Is this a reaction from food sensitivity? I'm only asking because I do that as well, and I'm curious to know why. It's funny, I'm not aware of scratching my face. I noticed I just scratched right here. It's probably from food sensitivities. Let's see. It depends where I'm scratching my face. Now I'll have to start noticing. If you notice it in a video, you can point it out. By the way, my camera is like extra blurry right now. I apologize for that. I don't know what's going on. The lighting isn't quite as good as it was when it was earlier in the day. So I hope I'm okay. You guys can see enough of me. So in terms of sorry, now I'm getting all paranoid about the quality of the. Okay, never mind. I'm just going to proceed. It probably is related to my food sensitivities. That causes a lot of itchiness throughout my whole body. It's possible that I maybe it's like a nervous thing. In the past, like I remember when I was in college, I had like this slightly nervous tick type thing where I would like rub my nose a lot when I was like, I don't know. I just remember doing it and it wasn't like related to anything. It was just like something I would do when I was uncomfortable. So I try to be aware of that stuff. It's interesting when people pick up on it. So I don't have a solid answer for you because I haven't noticed myself doing it, but my hunch is that it is related to food sensitivities because that causes a lot of swelling. I usually get swelling in here, I get swelling in here, and I get sneezing. I do get itchy on my head. So if you ever see me scratching back here, it's usually because I've consumed corn. Corn is one food sensitivity I've noticed. Very specific parts of my scalp will itch within a few hours of eating corn and then up like 24 hours afterwards sometimes. And I found a great solution to that is to not eat corn for me, even if it's organic. But B, as tea tree oil is really wonderful if you ever have any scalp itchiness. There's tea tree oil in the shampoo and conditioner I use, and I just will spray concentrated or diluted tea tree oil on my scalp whenever I have itchiness, and it works instantly. It's great. Otherwise, itchiness, now I'm going to be like extra aware of it, but that's good. I think it's good to be aware of like what you're doing with your body. I mean, I find drinking lots of water is helpful in flushing things, but ultimately it's avoiding anything and starting to pay attention. I noticed that I had almond sensitivities because I would eat almonds, and then within an hour I would start to get swelling and I would start to sneeze. And I started just paying very close attention until I found that correlation there. So it's always very interesting. So I guess Nita says she can't see or hear anything. You should be able to watch this on your, well, I guess it's not helpful if I'm saying anything, but she's trying to connect right now, and hopefully you can at least watch the recording later. Nita also had a second question. Can you do an intestine and digestion video? Nita has lupus and a problematic digestion and bowel issues and would love any tips. If you haven't yet seen my video on the body ecology diet, that is fantastic for this topic. That's on my main channel, the main Eco Vegan Gal channel. And that book is so in-depth about everything digestive related. I don't remember seeing anything in there about lupus, and I personally don't know that much about it, but digestion is something that I've had a lot of experience with. And so that book is definitely a great, great one to read. It's very strict. So you kind of have to take some things with a grain of salt unless you want to do it full out, which you definitely can. And I will definitely keep you in the loop as I learn things. Other books I've read that I love are the 7-Day Allergy Makeover and the book called Is Food Making You Sick? The second one I talked about on the main channel last fall as part of the Healthy Balanced Vegan Body series. And that book was really helpful. It's all about the low histamine diet, which has reduced the histamine reactions in my body related to food. And that's where sometimes the itchiness and the swelling can come from. So there might be some help for you along there. All right, so those are the 2 questions that people have submitted here so far. I guess Nita is going to leave, which is too bad. I didn't realize that you couldn't watch from your iPhone. Maybe I heard that. I don't know. I'm still figuring out this platform, but Nita, hopefully you can tune in from and watch the recording later on. So I'm going to go over to another one. The event that I did earlier today, I still had a couple questions that I hadn't finished answering. So let me pull those up. And then I'm going to pull up some questions from the vlogs. And if you guys, again, if you have any other live questions you would like answered, let's see here. Okay, so Liz asked, are you the only vegan in your family besides Evie? Yes, Evie, my dog, is vegan. She's a vegan dog. She's been vegan. Actually, there's another question about that in the comments, so I'll answer that and talk about that more later. Yes, I'm the only vegan in my family. In my immediate family for sure. My parents and my sister kind of consider them pescatarian. They are vegetarian, but they eat fish. They still eat a little bit of dairy, and every once in a while they have meat. My sister, is very rare that she eats meat. My dad and my mom will make exceptions for like random stuff every once in a while, but for the most part, they're like fish is their main protein source. They believe that they need it or they love it or it's fine. They eat so much fish, and it's really hard for me because I know that there can be potential health hazards to eating that much fish. From a health standpoint, I think that there is potentially health benefits to eating fish. I don't think it's necessary. I don't advocate for eating fish at any point, but I definitely don't advocate for eating fish every single day or many times a week because it can be contaminated with all sorts of things. There's mercury issues. You have to be very careful about where you source your fish from. I've tried to tell my parents this and they just don't want to hear it from me. So what can you do? I've showed them documentaries, they've seen The Cove, they've seen Forks Over Knives, they've seen a number of movies, and they're just not ready to make that change. So I do intend to actually incorporate a lot of information about being the only vegan in your family, being in a relationship with a non-vegan, raising children, a lot of these topics of family and relationships and communication. That'll be a big part of Eco Vegan Pal when that launches. So stay tuned for more tips on that. Okay, Diane said, it seems to me that the vegan lifestyle is really growing fast and becoming more and more mainstream. Do you think this is just a phase or is it a trend that will continue? I definitely think it's going to continue based on how much it's grown since it was established, if I remember correctly, in the 70s. I feel like maybe 50s. I don't know. There's a lot of research that people were eating plant-based diets from way back when, like Dr. McDougall wrote The Starch Solution. And in that book, he starts it off with a lot of really fascinating information about research that they've done that's shown that humans survived on a mainly starch-based diet. There's all sorts of information about like gladiators eating a plant-based diet. So there's a lot of interesting data. Of course, it kind of conflicts sometimes with things like the paleo movement and all of that. Although paleo and vegan have a lot more in common than people realize. The main difference between paleo and vegan is that paleos eat meat and vegans don't, but almost every other element of the paleo diet is almost exactly the same as the plant-based diet. So my point in bringing that up is there's a lot of history, even though veganism maybe has been popular for 50, 60 years. I would get, I don't know all my data off the top of my head, but I remember it was the word vegan was established, and I feel like that was in the 70s, but don't quote me on that. If any of you want to go look that up and confirm it, or if you know it off the top of your head, let me know. My point being is there's definitely grown. I've been vegan for 13 years and the growth is substantial. I pay very close attention to a lot of health movements. For example, when I first went vegan, got really into health, started studying all of this, paleo was not a thing. Paleo came out and got really popular, I would say like around 2012, 2013, if I were to estimate. And I feel like it's already kind of starting to dive down in terms of like being a phase or a trend. You've seen trends like the Atkins diet. We've seen a lot of like popular diets, but the thing that's different is veganism is a lifestyle, not a diet. There is a difference between the plant-based diet and veganism. People can eat plant-based without actually being vegan, meaning that they're incorporated into their lifestyle. I think that vegans tend to be very, very passionate. There's a lot of environmental benefits, there's health benefits, there's animal benefits, there's consciousness benefits. You've got countries like India who are eating, many parts of India are vegetarian. I mean, there's a lot of things happening around the world that show that this could possibly just keep growing and growing. I don't think it's a phase. I think that it's a movement, and I think that it's more people are opening their eyes to it as we go along, and it's really just a matter of positioning. It's a matter of showing the health benefits, the environmental benefits, explaining how it affects animals, and showing people how easy and fun it is, which is part of my mission. And I think if we're all aligned with that, we can really help keep this as a trend or keep this as an ongoing movement, and so it never feels like it's a phase. Donald Watson, Aaron said, yes. His name was escaping me. 1944. That's when the term veganism was coined. Thank you for chiming in with that, Aaron. Yep, Rachel just confirmed that as well. Colleen Patrick Goudreau said in one of her podcasts that the term vegan was coined over 100 years ago. So yeah, it's 1944, not quite 100 years ago yet, but close. I don't know why I had it in my mind as the 70s, but yeah, there's a lot of really good information. Colleen Patrick Goudreau is a fantastic resource. In fact, I happen to have two of her books sitting right next to me. They're stuck together. This is her. She's got a podcast, several books. She's got a lot of great information out there for those of you who are curious. Okay, so let's dive right into some questions. Jennifer does have a request for the topic of being in a relationship with a non-vegan. Jennifer says she has a lot of experience with this. It would be interesting to discuss. Exactly what I would like to do in Eco Vegan Pal is have these types of discussions to help each other and share all that. All right, let me pull up some of the questions from the comment section of the vlogs. I can't take the credit here. Had a lot of help from people who have been helping me compile the questions. Some of you may have received this email from me where I asked for help in going through all the videos and looking at the comment section, looking for questions and topic suggestions. So I want to give a huge shout out to those of you who participated in this. It was super helpful. We have less than 15 minutes to go. It flies by. So let's see how quickly I can go through this. Number one, from vlog number 6, which is titled Things Have Changed, Tony asked, do I have a mentor? I don't have a mentor right now. My mentors are really books that I'm reading. If you've been paying attention to my vlogs, you know that I'm really into Wayne Dyer right now. I have read 2 of his books recently. I have 2 more on my shelf. He's written, I think, over 30 books. I've been listening to his podcast. I'm also really into Tony Robbins. I'm also reading one of his, Eckhart Tolle, Brendan Burchard. Like, I have all these very successful men that are really into personal development and business. I consider them kind of my mentors. I'm actually in a online class that Brendan Burchard is teaching right now. So he kind of feels like a mentor in that sense. But I don't actually have a mentor that I work with. I do mentorship. So I mentor vegan and healthy living content creators. I do coaching mainly through my platform, the creators community, and also through my online classes like Creative Wealth, which is going to be launching soon. So I love doing that, but I haven't really sought out a mentor, maybe because time is limited and I haven't felt like it's super, super necessary. So yeah, to answer your question, no, I do not at the moment, Tony. The next question comes from Jennifer, and this was under vlog number 8, which was about me having a thyroid problem. And she said she was wondering if I had any advice on how to best feed cats as vegans. She's noticed that I take care of Jason's cats and thought I would know a bit about this. She knows that dogs do well as vegans and has heard that it's possible to have vegan cats with some careful management of their nutritional take. But she has a cat that already has a kidney and bladder problems. She wants them to be as healthy as possible. She asked if Jason would mind sharing, does he feed his cats non-vegan food? Do I have any tips on finding cat food and all that? Here's the deal. I have done research on this, and there's a number of train of thoughts. Not only have I researched it myself, but I've also talked with vets about this. And I've talked to this guy named Jackson Galaxy, who's like this cat expert. He has a TV show on like Animal Planet or something like that. He actually is vegan himself. And I believe when I talked to him, he said he doesn't recommend the vegan diet for cats. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said. He was on the fence about it. I've also talked to a vet that's vegan. She helped me introduce the vegan diet to Evie when Evie first came into my life. And she's kind of on the fence about vegan cats. She's had some vegan cats in her history. She's worked with a number of vegan cats. It's an iffy thing. The reason it's tougher is because cats require a certain vitamin or a supplement in their diet, which you can get synthetically, but it's not as optimal. And you really, really have to watch their health. So if you have a cat that already has liver and bladder issues, it's a fine line. Jason also did a ton of research on this when he first got his cats, because he felt very conflicted about giving them animal products. And he found that you would have to test the cat's urine a lot. And, it just seemed harder and unnecessary to him. So Jason did make the decision to feed his cats a meat-based diet. He actually gets like one of the best vegan cat food, or the best, cat foods, not vegan, possible. There's this place in Los Angeles called the Petstaurant, and they make human grade, high quality, organic pet food for dogs and cats. And he gets it from there. He spends a ton of money. The cats eat this gourmet meal every day, and they're very, very healthy. He's given them kibble in the past, and he's thought about the vegan diet, but ultimately hasn't decided to do that for his cats yet. So I'm on the fence about it. I can see why you'd want to do it. Just know that it's tough. There's risks involved. It takes a lot of monitoring and a lot of research. You would work with somebody very closely, like find a vet who might approve of this and be helpful with it. But ultimately, it's kind of up to you. People have a lot of different mindsets around this, and like you have to decide, like, is it worth risking your animal's health? I felt conflicted about that at first when I got Evie, but Evie has now been in my life for almost 7 years. She is incredibly healthy. I've switched her diet from a number of different kibbles, and now I give her a mixture of foods using this base called Honest Kitchen, which is dehydrated foods with supplements. And then I mix in proteins, which are usually grains like rice or quinoa, and legumes. So lentils, peas, beans. I mix it up all the time. I just started doing that a month ago and experimenting with it. And I mean, she's been really healthy no matter what. I fed her, and she's been vegan almost the entire 7 years I've had her. So dogs are a different story. I've read a ton about vegan dogs. Like, there's so much information out there about it. It's very easy for your dog to go vegan. It's quite different. Jennifer says that she watches Jackson Galaxy's show sometimes. Yeah, he's a really cool guy. Okay. Let's see. KK in vlog 18, which was entitled "The Reason I Was So Emotional," she asked if my dog was vegan. Did I slowly transition her to cooked food? I have a whole channel called Eco Vegan Dog, and I used to post a ton of videos on there, and the last one I did was like 2 years ago or something. I keep kind of wanting to post on there, and I probably will again soon, but there's a ton of information from like the first month that I had Evie, and like all the different things we did, and like treats and food and all that stuff. She was a puppy when I got her, so I had to give her a special diet and change it over time and all this other stuff. All that information is over there. And there's some information on my website, ecovegangal.com. If you click on the category, the menu at the top that says love, there's a companion animal section there where I have some information about dogs, maybe even cats. I don't remember off the top of my head. Also on vlog 18, Mariana asked, if I had considered making my vlogs private and posting them onto Patreon to eliminate things like the thumbs down. I actually have thought about that, and that was part of my inspiration for Eco Vegan Pal. When I got really frustrated with doing the vlogs on What a Vegan Eats channel, I was like, I can't take any of this criticism and thumbs down. I want to make them all private and like through a membership portal. And that's where the idea of Eco Vegan Pal started to develop. But, you know, it's been a good practice for me working through my issues with the thumbs downs. And so I ultimately, at this time, have decided to make them public, but I'm toying around with a few different ideas. I'll keep you guys posted on that. Patreon is just, it's a great platform for now. In fact, if you look under the video, you can click the green Become a Patron button right now. That means you contribute a little bit of money every month, and that goes into the production of videos and sustainability of things like all my different projects, getting things like Eco Vegan Pal off the ground. So if any of you want to chip in, even $1 a month really, really helps. And Mariana is a contributor. I'm so grateful. I just don't love it as a platform for delivering content. It's a great platform for receiving funds and doing some communication, but it's not ideal, in my opinion, for delivering content. So that's why I'm building Eco Vegan Pal. Okay, let's see what else here. So there's a blog 28, which is just a few days ago. It was entitled, "This Isn't What I Expected." Simply Allison asked, "Your car is so cool. How do you get to go to the classes at YouTube?" Two separate questions. To answer your question about classes at YouTube, if you live in a city where you're by YouTube space, so there's one in New York City, San Francisco now, I think, Los Angeles, maybe Texas. They're starting to grow. There's a few internationally, like in the UK, I think in London and Japan, I feel like. Not very many in the world yet. But these are basically production studios you can access, and they have classes there. They have certain requirements for like number of subscribers right now. So you have to hit a certain threshold. I feel like maybe you need to have 1,000 subscribers on your channel in order to participate. They keep upping it. In the beginning, it was like 100 subscribers, and now they keep raising the bar because there are more and more creators. But basically, if you meet their requirements, you can sign up for their newsletter, find out when classes happen, and then sign up for classes. And if there's room in the class and you meet the requirements, then you get to go. And I've done this a number of times. Rainbow on vlog 29, yesterday's vlog entitled Am I Wrong? Rainbow asked, can you do a vlog or two on friendships? How does one cope when friends are envious or jealous? Great question. I don't know if I can answer this in depth in the next 4 minutes. I would say that the best thing you can do to cope with any negativity in relationships is to work on yourself first, which is exactly why I spend so much time studying personal development and growth and meditating and doing all these things you see me talking about in my vlogs. Every time I struggle with something, if it's with another person, that usually means that I need to do more work on myself. So I find that reading people like Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle, etc., they really help me understand myself more, understand my reactions to things. So it always starts with you. And then you have to decide how you feel about these friends in your life. In fact, I did a video a few months back on this channel, one of the Sunday videos where I talked about friendships, determining if somebody is valuable for your life. So you might want to check that one out. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but it was definitely this year. And it wasn't too long ago. It should have the word friends or relationships in the title. I can talk more about that, Rainbow, but that's a quick answer. And the last question I have today is also from yesterday's blog from Laura, who asked, can you please do a video on conscious relationships? What would your advice be for dating with intention be? I think it's a very similar answer. I love this subject matter. Ultimately, we have to decide what we want. We have to figure out who we are. And sometimes we have to do a lot of experimenting. I've definitely found that to be true, is just really being open, dating, seeing what you like and what you don't like in different people, and monitoring your own reactions, looking at what's triggering you, what's making you upset, what's making you happy. Doing things like studying the 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. It's one of my favorite books. That book helped me so much. And a number of men that I've dated have read that book too. And it's really opened up so many eyes, the 5 Love Languages. And I think he's coming out with a new book soon, which I'm really excited about. All of his writing is fantastic. And it's got a religious basis, a Christian basis. It's great. So conscious relationships mean getting in touch with yourself, knowing what you want, communicating with the other person, being open, doing your best to work through things with them. And then if something doesn't work out, heal, spend the time it takes to heal, know that you will get through it, know that there is somebody out there for you, and look back on your dating history as an opportunity to figure out what it is that you want and go for it. And, find your own specific way. You might want online dating. You might want speed dating. You might want to just randomly meet people, get introduced to people through friends. There's so many ways to meet people these days. And so you just got to figure out what it is that you want. All right, we've got less than 2 minutes before the cutoff time here. There's a very strict cutoff here on a Crowdcast. Thank you so much. The time flew by for me. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you to those of you who are live. Thank you to those of you watching the recording, who've sent in your questions, who've been watching the vlogs, who've been commenting. All of your support means so much to me, as I keep saying. I really, really mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm totally open to doing more of these. If you like this format, let me know here in the comments if you're live, or send me an email, send me a message, reach out to me somehow. Tell me what you think. What was your feedback on here? And would you like to see this more often? I can use this exact platform again. It's one of the best options out there. It does have a monthly fee, so there's a chance that I'm either going to charge for it, or you're going to be required to be part of Eco Vegan Pal or part of the Patreon community or something like that, just to offset the cost of hosting these videos. But it shouldn't be very expensive. I think it'll be very worth your while, so we can connect more. I can answer your questions. I can give you more. I'd love any more feedback you have about vlogs. I think I'm going to take a day off today and then reevaluate tomorrow. So any feedback you have about the vlogs, let me know. I'm making them for you. I want to connect with you. They've changed so much for me. Like, they've helped me out so much. And I feel like I know each of you so much better because of it. So again, thanks so much. I wish I could reach through the screen and give you a big hug. I care so much about you. And I can't wait to bring you Eco Vegan Pal very, very soon. All right. Until next time. Bye.